Pi Network's future. Blockchain, tokenization, and regulations. With J-Coin.
Did you know that Bitcoin is now a political necessity after the US elections? Global regulations are constantly evolving, and this could have a major impact on blockchain projects like Pi Network. Is this an opportunity or a threat to Pi's future? The crypto world is at a major turning point. After the US elections, Bitcoin is no longer just a digital asset, it has become part of a global political strategy. On the other hand, blockchain regulations are getting stricter, but they also open up new opportunities for projects that are ready to adapt. So, what about Pi Network? Is its ecosystem prepared for these changes? With the growing adoption of crypto, regulatory licenses in Europe, and the massive rise of asset tokenization, Pi Network stands at a crossroads that could define its future. In this video, we'll explore how global trends in blockchain, from Bitcoin's political role to the tokenization revolution, could impact Pi Network. Will this be a path for Pi Network to grow even bigger, or a challenge that must be overcome quickly? Let's dive in.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Bitcoin becomes a political asset, its impact on Pi Network.
Today, Bitcoin is no longer just an investment asset, it has become part of a global political strategy. Following the Republican Party's victory in the US elections, many analysts believe that Bitcoin will gain even more acceptance at the government level. In fact, some investors now consider owning Bitcoin a financial necessity due to its growing influence on global economic policies. If Bitcoin continues to gain global acceptance and becomes a key part of major countries' political agendas, two possible outcomes could emerge. Crypto regulations may either become more lenient or significantly stricter. Some countries might embrace blockchain innovation, while others could enforce tighter rules to maintain control over digital assets. For Pi Network, this signals one crucial factor: the project must be prepared for various regulatory scenarios. So far, Pi Network has grown as an ecosystem that prioritizes decentralization and accessibility for everyone. However, without clear regulatory certainty, its adoption could face significant challenges. On the other hand, this shift could also present a massive opportunity. If Bitcoin continues to gain acceptance at the government level, blockchain-based projects like Pi Network may also receive broader recognition. With the right strategy, Pi Network can adapt to emerging regulations and prove that its ecosystem is secure, innovative, and competitive with other crypto projects. In conclusion, this global political shift could be a game-changing opportunity for Pi Network to accelerate adoption, as long as the project can adapt and comply with evolving regulations.
Fintech 21X secures EU license. Can Pi Network follow suit?
Amid the evolving landscape of blockchain regulations, an exciting development has emerged from Europe. 21X, a German fintech company, has officially obtained a license from the European Union's financial regulator, BaFin. With this license, 21X can operate a legally regulated blockchain-based asset tokenization platform. This means that digital assets traded on the platform will fully comply with the legal framework in the European Union. Why is this important? Because it proves that blockchain technology is becoming increasingly accepted under clear regulations. While many crypto projects have faced legal uncertainty in the past, 21X serves as a real example that blockchain companies can secure official approval to operate within the global financial system. So, what does this mean for Pi Network? If a company like 21X can obtain regulatory licensing, there is a potential pathway for Pi Network to follow the same trajectory. As more countries begin integrating blockchain into their financial systems, Pi Network can see this as an opportunity to align with global regulatory standards. To reach this point, Pi Network must focus on several key factors. 1. Regulatory compliance. Pi Network needs to ensure that its business model adheres to legal frameworks in various countries to facilitate broader adoption. 2. Security and transparency. Just as 21X gained the trust of regulators, Pi Network must build a secure and reliable ecosystem for its users. 3. Real-world adoption. Clear regulations will make it easier for blockchain-based projects like Pi Network to integrate into traditional financial systems. Now, the big question remains, can Pi Network obtain a similar license in the future? And could this be a crucial step toward making Pi a legally recognized digital currency on a global scale? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Asset tokenization soars 50x opportunity for Pi Network?
The world of finance and investment is heading toward a major revolution. Real-world asset or RWA tokenization is predicted to reach a market value of $30 trillion by 2030. This means assets like real estate, digital art, and even stocks can be tokenized and traded digitally on the blockchain. What does this mean for Pi Network? If this trend continues to grow, blockchain projects that want to survive in the long run will need to enter the tokenization ecosystem. Pi Network has great potential to be part of this revolution by providing a payment system based on PiCoin, which can be used for digital asset transactions that are tokenized. Imagine if Pi could be used as a medium of exchange in the purchase of blockchain-based real estate, digital art, NFTs, or even tokenized stocks. With the growing number of users, Pi Network has the opportunity to build a broader and more integrated digital economy ecosystem with the global financial sector. However, to enter this tokenization market, Pi Network needs to strengthen several key aspects. First, a strong blockchain infrastructure, where the Pi Network must be more efficient and capable of handling large transactions to support the tokenization ecosystem. Second, regulatory compliance, as seen in the 21x case, where regulation becomes a major factor in the development of digital assets. Pi Network must ensure that its project complies with laws in various countries for widespread acceptance. Third, strategic partnerships, allowing Pi Network to collaborate with companies in the asset tokenization field to accelerate its adoption in the real world. If Pi Network can enter this ecosystem, it is not impossible that in the future we will see PiCoin used in various digital asset transactions. So, what do you think? Can Pi Network be a part of this tokenization revolution? And could this be a significant step to enhance PiCoin's value? Share your thoughts in the comments.
ETH holders growing stronger, time to hodl Pi?
In the crypto world, patience is often the key to success. Recent data shows that the number of long-term Ethereum, ETH, holders has increased drastically, from 59% to 75% in just 1 year. This means more people are choosing to hold on to their ETH rather than sell it because they believe in its long-term potential. So, what does this have to do with Pi Network? Looking at this trend, there is an important lesson for the Pi community. Many Pi users are still questioning the true value of PiCoin and whether they should sell it as soon as the mainnet goes live. However, if we learn from ETH holders' strategy, holding on to coins for the long term, HODL, could be a smart choice. Why? Because the value of a crypto asset is not just determined by speculation but also by the ecosystem that develops around it. If more users hold on to their Pi and support its ecosystem, the chances of increasing adoption and the long-term value of PiCoin will also grow. Instead of focusing solely on short-term prices, it's better to focus on real-world use cases, innovation within the ecosystem, and network development. Of course, the decision is ultimately in the hands of each user. Do you believe in Pi Network's long-term potential and plan to hold onto your Pi for the future? Or would you rather start using it right away? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Bitcoin drops amid trade war. Is Pi Network an alternative?
Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency, has sharply declined to $85,000 due to global economic uncertainty and escalating trade tensions. Economic policies implemented by President Trump's administration have also had a significant impact on financial markets, including the crypto sector. This highlights that, despite being considered digital gold, Bitcoin remains highly volatile and susceptible to external factors. So, what does this mean for Pi Network? When the crypto market experiences major turbulence, many investors and users seek alternatives that are more stable and offer real utility. This presents an opportunity for Pi Network to build a more inclusive ecosystem, focusing on real-world use rather than mere price speculation. If Pi Network successfully creates a strong ecosystem, where users can transact, conduct business, and utilize PiCoin in daily life, this project could become a more stable solution amid global economic uncertainty. In conclusion, Pi Network is not just another speculative project. It has the potential to be a real solution for those who want to stay active in the crypto space without being shaken by market volatility like Bitcoin. What do you think? Can Pi Network be a more stable alternative in an uncertain global landscape? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Conclusion and discussion.
As the crypto world evolves, we can see how Bitcoin has now become a political asset, influencing regulations in various countries. Regulations are continuously developing, and Pi Network must be prepared to adapt if it wants to remain relevant in the global blockchain ecosystem. Moreover, the projected 50x growth in asset tokenization presents a significant opportunity for Pi Network to take part in the digital economic revolution. If Pi can leverage this ecosystem, its adoption could expand even further. Additionally, data shows that the number of long-term Ethereum holders is increasing, suggesting that the HODL strategy, holding assets for the long term, can be a smart move. This principle can also apply to the Pi Network community members who wish to see their ecosystem grow in value. On the other hand, Bitcoin's volatility due to global uncertainty proves that the crypto market remains highly dynamic. Therefore, projects that focus on real-world adoption, like Pi Network, could serve as an alternative for those looking to use crypto assets in daily life rather than solely for speculation. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Pi Network could obtain regulatory licenses in the future? Would you prefer to hold Pi for the long term or sell it as soon as it becomes tradable? Share your opinions in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates on blockchain and Pi Network.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.